Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Petersburg, and guess what? We have that one German performance car many of you still want to see more and more of. This is it. This is a 2021 BMW M2, but it's not just any M2. This is an M2 Competition with a slick shifting 6-speed manual transmission. But before we get into this Long Beach blue metallic German beast, let's talk about what's going on here. BMW, they've been doing the business for decades, obviously doing airplanes and airplane engines, motorcycles, automobiles. Obviously they have a full lineup of SUVs, but you know what? There's one car that really has stuck to the original roots of the ultimate driving machine, and it's this BMW M2. Now, yes, there are faster, whatever you consider fast, straight line fast, road course fast, there are faster M vehicles like the M3, the M4, the mighty M8, but there's something just so special about this small size of the 2 Series, but getting that turbocharged straight 6 power. Now, unfortunately, 2021 is the final year of this generation of the M2. Now, there are some that are excited for that new generation, but people still loving getting behind the wheels and the on-throttle experiences that they have in this M2. But what I want to do with this review is I want to kind of do a couple things. I want to talk about, should you be trying to track down a pristine 2021 model like this particular one, but also what about the competition? We have an M2 Competition, but it has its own competition. What is that competition going to be? The mighty Porsche 718 GT4, and yes, even the value-packed Toyota Supra. So let's go ahead, let's dive into our 2021 Long Beach blue metallic M2 Competition and find out which way you should go. Right off the bat, the color. This is my favorite color for an M2. Starting at the front of the business, it really has that traditional BMW style. I love the way they do the LED halo lights, which are those daytime running lamps. You got your LED projector beam headlights, a little bit of silver trim, nothing too crazy, everything else blacked out. But the good news is you work your way down, full functionality. Now, when you go M2 Competition, you're having more performance, and obviously we need to get air to those heat exchangers so you can actually see the heat exchangers behind the massive openings. And you also have, of course, your side air curtain to help channel that airflow. I think what BMW does really well with their front fascias is that they add that extra aero into the design without adding extra splitters and canards and all that other good stuff. It's all built in to be a nice cohesive design, looking really tough. Now, when we come across the front grille, I know people are still tongue wrestling and mud wrestling and arguing about the massive grills on the M3s and the M4s. Well, guess what? Your M2 still has that basic kidney-shaped grille design, much smaller grille, fits it perfectly. Our M2 badge, remember, the M. This is a true M car. M stands for motorsport. I love the vertical slots, fully functional, even the way they dip the front fascia into that center section there. And then, of course, dropping it like it's hot, we have this sexy front splitter, plus we got more functionality because there's a massive intercooler lurking behind this gloss black opening of a lower grille. We even have those side vents that are gonna bring air to cool the brakes, because it's not just about performance underneath the hood, it's about also that braking performance. Now, when you compare this to a 718 GT4, obviously the Porsche is gonna be a mid-engine car, so from a balance standpoint, it definitely has a leg up on this M2. But when you're comparing it to the Supra, or some people still call to this day the Supra, it's interesting just how much more compact this vehicle is than the Supra. And from a functionality standpoint, this has way more functionality in the grills than the Supra will ever have. But let's go ahead, let's hop up onto the hood. You get a slight little baby bulge. Everything kind of veers off to the A-pillars and then disappears. Nice, clean style. Very aggressive on the front end, but when you get to the hood, cleans down. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. Absolutely love these sexy, seductive wheels. You have that machined dark aluminum finish with the gloss black. Looks fan-freaking-tastic. Wheels are specific to the M2 Competition. And what I love is that they're 19-inch wheels wrapped with those Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires. Great tire. And then look at the brake performance. We have calipers, 6-piston calipers with the M badge. That thing is the size of the head of a sledgehammer. And just like a sledgehammer is gonna just stomp out the competition, these brakes are gonna stomp out the speed. So you're gonna be able to shed speed like a German Shepherd sheds hair with those over 15-inch brake rotors, 2-piece, cross-drilled and fully ventilated. That's gonna cut down on heat buildup, plus give you lighter rotating mass. And of course, we got the special suspension, all 4 corners, to make this M2 Competition handle like nothing but the ultimate driving machine business. But really think the style is great. Now, I know some of you might say, well, Joe, I'm not so sure about the design. That looks like it's gonna be hard to clean. Trust me, it's gonna be a labor of love with those sexy, sexy wheels. Comparing this to a Supra or a 718 GT4, those vehicles have 19 and 20-inch wheels. So obviously, same type of competition with this M2 Competition. But going down the side, you do have this fake vent area, and I am gonna zonk that, but I do like the way they integrated the M2 badge. A little bit of gloss black. Would have been nice if that was functional. Color match, that long blue beach metallic paint job spilled all over this car. I think out of the different brands that we're talking about, the Porsche, the Toyota, look at the way they do the side mirror shape. You're gonna get color match side mirrors, but the shape of it is very aerodynamic, efficient. A little bit of gloss black on the bottom. I love the lower sill, how it comes down just enough, color matched on the door handles, and then the flaring of the rear fender. It just gets Coke bottle sexiness as you get towards the rear. And speaking of the rear, what do we got? We got more rubber to meet the road. So out back, you're looking at 265 on the width, 35 series sidewall on that 19-inch wheel. Look at the rear rotors. Almost just as big as the front rotors, and you're getting 4-piston calipers in the back. That's the performance. And when you compare the brakes to the Supra, this has heavier performance style brakes than the Supra. It's gonna be on par, obviously, with the GT4. But there's that sexy shape. I'm gonna have Lori kind of spin around and just show you that sexy flared fender. When you're washing this car or waxing it, this is that part where you just want to keep polishing and polishing because it looks so damn good. On the trunk, you have this slick trunklet spoiler, no big wing like on the GT4. Obviously, the Supra is going to have that duckbill kick-up rear tail. This looks very, very good. Also going to give you that aerodynamic downforce that you want. Of course, you're going to have LED lighting on the taillights. And then working your way across, there it is, that M2 Competition badge. You could get an M2, but the Competition brings more. Dropping it and looking at the back of the car, which a lot of the competition, this is what they're gonna see of your BMW M2 is the back. You get one of the best looking quad tip exhausts, black tip / cut with this awesome rear diffuser area. It looks absolutely phenomenal. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering the M2 Competition. All right, guys, we got the hood open. Obviously, being a front engine, this is gonna fall very close in alignment with the Supra. Mid-engine, flat 6 on the GT4. But what do we got? First of all, you have one of the sexiest strut tower braces I've ever seen. Full carbon fiber from one shock top mount all the way to the other. And as you can see on that engine cover, we have M-Power, and those German engineers really shoehorned this engine into that engine compartment. But what do we got? That 3-liter straight 6 turbocharged engine, 405 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. You could have your choice. You could have it your way, where you could have a 7-speed DCT, or guess what? We have the right one. This is the one with the 6-speed manual transmission. 0 to 60, if you know how to dance on your twinkle toes, will go by in about 3.8 seconds. top speed, 174 miles an hour. The car weighs around 3,500 pounds with the manual. MPGs, not too bad, 18 in the city, 25 on the highway. And when you're comparing this to the Porsche is gonna have a little bit more than 400 horsepower, but the Supra is gonna have less than this vehicle. It's gonna have a little bit more than 380 horsepower. But let's get to the best part. Obviously, sound is one of those on-throttle experiences that we crave for, just like a little kid craves for a candy bar. Let's fire up this M2 Competition and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2021 BMW M2, that beautiful Long Beach metallic paint job. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I really wanted one of these, and they're super hard to come by, especially with a 6-speed manual. I've been looking at the Supra, but the thing that holds me back from the Supra is that it's an automatic only. It's a good automatic, but it's automatic only. And the GT4, it's a little bit out of my price range, but how much is this BMW M2 Competition? Well, brand new, it had an MSRP of around $60,000, but let's see what you get for the money and find out, should you be tracking one of these down? To the door panels. Love the clean, sporty style. You got the nice, smooth, soft touch material up top, and then look what's in the center. That bright blue stitching with the Alcantara. Armrests on BMWs are nothing really to write home about, but they look super sexy. And then you have that carbon fiber style material on the door handle. We have the Harman Kardon sound system. Door pocket is interesting. It's got its tight points to it, but then it's got a little bit larger section. So maybe one Bavarian cream donut and a bottle of Yoo-Hoo to wash it down. Other than that, you're not gonna be able to fit much in there. Going from the door panel to the dash, same thing. You have the older style. Remember, this is the end of this generation. I like it. I think you got plenty of room for the passenger, more of that carbon fiber style material. The aluminum trim looks clean. And then when you get to the infotainment side of things, you're looking at that 8.8-inch infotainment system. Now, if you're comparing this to the Supra, it's the same exact size, even the same exact system, which is the older operating system. Me personally, I think it works just fine. You could roll the dice, wait for the 2022 or 2023 M2 and see what happens, but this is a driver's car, and I'll show you exactly what that means in a few moments. But it's got touchscreen, it's got Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, something to be aware of, easy to get into the different settings, and I think an 8.8-inch screen is large enough. You got your AC vents. This is where you lock and unlock your doors from inside. So if you go to pick up your hot date, don't look on the door panel. You're gonna look like a noob. You wanna hit this, and that's gonna lock and unlock the doors. You got your dual climate control, heated seats, and then that bright red start-stop button. And I always like how they have the automatic start-stop feature right there so you can immediately turn it off. Here's our BMW key fob. It's the older key fob. I wish it had an M badge on it, so I am gonna zonk that there's no M badge on this key fob. You got a place here for at least one Twinkie, and then open that up, 2 cup holders, a USB-A, and a 12-volt. But it's not about the cups. It's not even about the Twinkies. It's about this right here. This is what makes it all worthwhile. You have this beautiful 6-speed manual transmission with this leather shift knob, the M badging, the Alcantara with the Long Beach blue metallic stitch work. Nice short throws, crisp engagement. This is what it's all about, and you'll see when we go on throttle. More of that carbon fiber style material. You have the older iDrive system, easy to manipulate the controls of the infotainment. Good old-fashioned mechanical e-brake. And then you're gonna have nice soft padding on the leather-wrapped center console area. Open it up, wireless charging. Just make sure you don't have an iPhone 47 because I don't think it's gonna fit in here. USBs and enough room for a pack of Tic Tacs. Close it up, seats. Competition style, one-piece backs, the stitchwork leather, perforated center, nice bolstering. You got electric assist for the passenger. I got, of course, electric assist for the driver. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room. And then the thing, when you're looking at the Supra or the Porsche that they're not gonna have, are 2 extra seats. Not super duper large, but large enough that if you need to take some people on a crazy drive with you, you could do it. And then on top of that, we got the M stitching on the seat belts. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower right there. But why don't you come over here, because I got 3 pedals of fun and a leather wrapped steering wheel that I want to show you behind, coming over to the business end of this M2. All right guys, business time behind the triple pedal BMW M2 Competition. How do you know you got an M2 Competition? You're greeted every time by this sexy sill plate with the M badging, the M2 Competition logo, and then look at that pedal box. Nice large aluminum dead pedal, and those other pedals are straight up race car position ready. Clutch, brake, and throttle. My only zonk is I wish that those had aluminum finishes as well, but you know what? Heel toe downshifting is a dream in this M2. Now, when it comes to the seats, you do have 2 memory seat settings and the lower lumbar and all the other electric controls. Get it set up perfect for you. And then you know what? We live in a world where everybody thinks they need a flat bottom steering wheel, but BMW shows you can have an awesome steering wheel and have it still be just round. M logo, M stitching all the way around, nice 10 and 2 notches, even the way they hollow out the center here, flat black on the buttons. It is manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then the dash, if you want a full digital display, you're gonna have to go Supra, because guess what? Neither the GT4 nor this vehicle has full digital displays, but you do have your different drive modes, efficient, sport, and sport plus, which is nice. And then you can also adjust your steering separate from the actual modes. No head-up display. I'm okay with that because the gauges are so spot on the money. But you know, let's get to the trunk because I'm ready to go on throttle in this M2. All right, guys, time to get into the trunk. Now, obviously, comparing this to the Porsche, you do have the front-mounted trunk and you have space underneath the hatch. The Supra does have that hatchback style with its space, but what do we got? We have a traditional straight-up trunk on our M2, and the nice thing is, for a smaller car, it does have a wide trunk opening, and the cargo floor is on the deeper side. That's 14 cubic feet of space. You do have, of course, the Nuremberg required Twinkie net. So if you ever go to the Nürburgring with this car, you gotta have your Twinkies in the net so that they don't slide around, because remember, no guy wants his Twinkie sliding around the back of a trunk. That's just gonna hurt. Lift it up. Look what they did. They actually have the battery, no spare. The battery is in the rear to help with that weight distribution and also help with some room underneath the hood, because you're not gonna be able to have a battery underneath that hood with that huge straight 6 turbocharged engine. But you know what? It's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in our manual competition. All right, guys, we left Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete. We're in this super sweet 2021 BMW M2 Competition with the manual transmission. You know, it does feel dated in here, but I really don't care because this car is so driver focused. Let me show you. Second gear, on throttle, here we go. Yeah! Woo! I tell you right now, man, this thing is freaking amazing. I love the sound of the straight 6, the pops, the bangs. The 6-speed manual in here is so light and so crisp, and the way it just clicks perfectly into each gate of the 6-speed is just phenomenal. Rear wheel drive, of course, and you have automatic rev match downshifting. You can leave it on, you can turn it off. Just really allows you to take that full setup, and you got the M buttons on the steering wheel, M1 and M2 with all those presets you could have. Seats are comfy, they hold you in great. This thing can be driven every day, but let's go back on throttle, second gear. On throttle, here we go. Yeah! On the brakes. Wow, look at this. Yeah! Pulls all the way through the rev range. Wow. Those massive 6-piston calipers, nice and balanced. This is what the driving ultimate machine philosophy is. This is it right here. And interesting to compare this to the new M2. And I'm getting choked up. That's how good this thing is I'm getting actually choked up. But comparing it to the M3 and the M4, I'm going M2. It's lighter. I like the proportions of it more. And the fact that you could get the competition, it's a competition with the 6-speed manual or the 7-speed DCT. Look at this. God, the sounds. It's intoxicating. It really, really is. It really, really is. Clutch feel is great. Nice. I want to say like a light to medium on the clutch. Good pickup point. Pulling away from the stop sign here. Second gear. On throttle, here we go. Golly. Wow. And the feedback, like you can feel how much grip that the front end of the car has, which allows you to take advantage of the lightness of that communication and really turn those fast times. I think this car is well more sorted than a Supra. Now, obviously, when comparing it to a GT4, the GT4 is gonna out-handle it. I mean, it's a mid-engine Porsche, for God's sakes, but this car still brings the business. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes, downshift. Nice, yeah! Love the sounds. Woo-hoo-hoo! The brakes, everything, just so well planted. It's gonna be interesting to see what the new M2 brings to the table. I just don't think it's gonna have this excitement and this personality. I think some of it's gonna go out the window, to be honest with you. All right, guys, a little bit more on throttle fun in this slick shifting M2. On throttle, here we go. Love it, absolutely love this car, especially the fact that when you're comparing it to the other two, this is a daily driver all day long. You can enjoy the twisty bits, you can enjoy the heritage, the M badging, the ultimate braking in this thing, yet you could drive it every single day. And if you have some smaller people in your life that you love, maybe your kids, you can put them in the back and share that whole car enthusiast experience. That's what it really is all about, is being able to share the excitement and what it means to be a car person all together, wrapped up in one package, which makes this car extra, extra special and extra, extra just gobs of all the things that make a fun driving car a fun driving car. Really, really spectacular. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes. Yeah! Nice chirp from the tires. Going into third, and remember, a chirping tire is a happy tire. That's what I always say here on Raiti's Rides. Nice and balanced. Look at this. Oh my God. Unfreaking believable, this car. It really is. All right, guys, here we go once again. Second gear. On throttle, pulls down low all the way through. Jeez, this freaking thing is quick. It really is. On the brakes. Great feedback from the pedal. Smooth downshifts. Nice turn in. God, I want one of these. This car is a ton of fun, and I like it more then a Supra. It's hard to say about the GT4, I'll be honest with you. But definitely I would love one of these over a Supra any day of the century. And I actually would take this over an M3 or an M4, even though those are faster. But that's how I like cars that communicate. I like cars that give you that great feedback that you want. All right, guys, one more time for you. Definitely one more time for me. First gear, on throttle. Yeah, chirp 'em. Nice. Love that sound. On the brakes. So smooth on the downshifts. Look at this. Nice. Yeah, I love the balance of this thing. It's like you can throw this any way you want it and you got the grip. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel about what this car is all about. We're gonna wrap this up and get back to Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one heck of an on-throttle day here at Jaguar Land Rover St. Pete. I definitely want to thank Jeff, Miro, and the rest of the team getting us access to this pristine 2021 BMW M2 Competition with a manual transmission. Let me know what you think. Are you going M2? Are you going to go Supra? Are you going to go GT4? How are you spending your money? And then on top of that, do you think that this is going to be one of those cars that BMW builds that people are going to really crave for in the future, especially when you look at what's coming down the pipeline from BMW? But put it all in the comment section. I'm going to read it. BMW is going to read it. We're going to want to know what you think. But until that day, when we could do this again, if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click that freaking link in the description. Get yourself some freaking Raity's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the best in the biz. That's why she's hashtag best in the biz. That's her hashtag. Show Lori some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.